Hey guys, Omerko here, self-taught web developer. You see, in Angular we can manage our forms in two ways. We can manage our forms as a template-driven or React-driven forms. Through this video, you will see how can you manage your template-driven forms. What if I told you that already somehow we worked with template-driven forms through this course? As a template-driven form is nothing much than binding our properties, our data to our elements and vice versa. To work with template-driven forms, I will go into my home component, so here in source, app and home component, and I will open up my TypeScript file of my home component. Here I could create some data. For example, I can create the object of user. So user will be equal to an object here. So here this object could hold first name of the user, which will be an empty string, then last name of the user, and maybe even age, which will be set to a 0. As I don't have values for those, I will populate those in my form. In my HTML of my home component right now, I will create my form, or we can simply create some input fields. First input field here, let me remove this homeworks. I will create the input field, the type should be a text. Then we could also put the placeholder here of first name, and here we will bind this input field with the ng module, which is two-way data binding in Angular. Model, and we could set it equal to our user dot first name of our user. Then we could have our second input field. Here type should be text, placeholder now can be last name, and ng model now will be bind to user dot last name field that we have. Then last input field, now the type can be a number as we are working with the age of the user, so number here, and then instead of first name as a placeholder I will use age or user age. Let's use just age here, and user dot age should be bind to our ng model. Last thing for now that I will add is my button to submit my data. So my button here, I could pass a type here of submit, but as we are not working with the full form, we could just use button as a type and text could be submit here. To my button now I can create click event listener. So in my brackets I will use click to specify click event, and I will listen for some submit data here. So once I click on this button I will dispatch this method of submit data. And as I still don't have this method, let's create one. Now in my home component TypeScript file below my ng on init, I will create submit data function right here. Inside I will just quickly log my user, so console.log user, this.user object that I have. On my screen now I will go to my home component and we can see our first name, last name and age for the user. Let me clear this console now, and let's add some text here like John Doe and 22 for the age. Let's submit, and here we can see our log of user with the first name of John, last name of Doe and age of 22. So our user holds that data, and now we can do whatever we wish with this data. For me, I will submit my user and render user data on a screen. So for example, next to my user object here, I will create one more property of submitted user, which will be type of any. In my submit data method now, instead of this console log, I will use this.submitted user to be equal to this.user. So once I have all the data, once I submit all the data, I will pass that data to my submitted user property. With this, our submitted user property holds some data. In my HTML right now, below my button here, I can render that data. So for example, paragraph here, it will say, let's use bold text here, and it will say first name 2 dots, and here I will bind this submitted user if I have it, so question mark dot, and here I will bind first name field for it. Also, I will copy this 2 more times for the last name. Also here field should be changed to last name, and also user age. This here also should change to age field. On my screen right now we do have our first name, last name and user age fields here, and here I could use John Doe and 22 as a number for our age and submit my data now. And next to that we could see our submitted data down below, so first name, last name and user age. This will be all for this video. In my next video we will work with something called reactive forms in Angular. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you saw, please click like and subscribe as I'm posting new content weekly. Thank you once again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.